we need to have a conversation. And the thing about this is, although I know this disproportionately affects the foundational black community, FBA, or if you call yourself ADOS, American Descendants of Slaves, who are the descendants of slaves, we need to have a talk. I need to be fair. This conversation hits anybody who is impoverished right now, because being FBA and ADOS doesn't necessarily mean you're struggling. Because whatever struggling is, I have to be honest, God has blessed me in this economy. I'm not struggling. That's not to boast or brag, that's just to be honest. Before I do get into the topic, because you saw the name of the video, let me give a shout out to DeAndre Dobbs. DeAndre Dobbs' channel is going to work for you if you are into keeping up with the latest stuff with celebrity and celebrity gossip. Me, myself, I don't, but I like some stuff that he said about Wendy Williams, which I won't go into here. If you care about celebrity gossip, if you care about reaction videos concerning a lack of cleanliness and sanitation, his channel's the best channel for you. So I want to give him a quick shout out. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. I'm no fan of Wendy Williams, but let me be fair, I have no favorite celebrity at all, because I think to get to the height that you have to in that industry, you have to do some dirty things behind the scenes. I'm not saying she did. I'm not saying any of these people did. We've had a conversation. I made a video about her weeks ago that didn't resonate, but as my subs are starting to grow, we're going to revisit this. Whether you keep up with celebrities or not, we know that Wendy Williams has aphasia. She has the same sort of dementia type ailment that actor Bruce Willis has. Once you get that diagnosis, there really is no going back. They are preparing you for end of life, because these things don't have cures. To my knowledge, dementia eventually eats holes in your brain, if I'm not mistaken, and that's why you lose a lot of your memory. Let me ask y'all a question. Do any of you find it strange that this woman's son have to ask permission for access to her? Here's why that question is relevant. When you're coming up, elevating up, leveling up, the higher your level up, the more you should be sitting down with someone. I haven't done this, so I know I'm a hypocrite in that regard. But to be fair, I'm living comfortably right now, but I'm working on my level up. When you're at her level, you should have already had in place a will and or a trust and a power of attorney. Because why is it that your only child has to ask for permission to see you when you have a sizable enough estate for that only child? See, poor people in general, and this is why I wanted to start this video off talking about FBAs and ADOS, but let's be honest, this is a poor people's thing in general, because we're not taught financial literacy. Or people who come from poverty and move up and don't understand that money's not bottomless. It's a well-known thing that this woman's son has to have permission to access her, despite the fact that that's her only child, and you would think that is the presumptive heir of everything she's made. And up to a few years ago, Wendy Williams, even the start of the pandemic, Wendy Williams was still in her right mind and did not have aphasia. I'm just making guesses here. Did she not write up a will? Because this seems like the rudimentary stuff to me. This is important, and I made this for my listeners because I've started to gain subs from people who want to grow their channels and grow their wealth. And if some of y'all had no idea of something I just found out, that if you want to monetize on any of these platforms, you need to have social media insurance, or what they call social media influencer insurance. That sounds crazy, but that's a thing if you are monetizing. As you all know, that guy CoffeeZilla is learning the hard way, because in his social media influencer insurance, he did not add defamation, or defamation is not covered in his coverage for the lawsuit he's going through right now, that I think he's going to come out of, but that's just an opinion. I bring CoffeeZilla up for the same reason we're going to discuss the cautionary tale of Wendy Williams. I don't want to discuss the enemies she's made. I don't want to discuss the people who, you know what I'm saying, are also her enemies. I don't want to go back and forth with that. We're still doing this in 2024, where we're having a high level of fame, a high level of notoriety, and not using common sense. Don't get me wrong, I don't know her whole story. What I do know is that her son does not have access to her, and the only thing I can come up with is that she did not give him power of attorney. That she likely didn't, and that she likely did not do her due diligence and write a will and or a trust. Because there are people who have access to Wendy who are not her blood relations. And you can say some of these people are people she's comfortable with. But your own child, that by all appearances you are close to, should have access to you. Because when you listen to her grown son talk, it's not about the money to him. And I genuinely believe that that's true. I hope that Wendy Williams isn't something for you all to watch and be like, oh, I remember when she was once a great co-host. Oh, I did or didn't like her gossip. I hope that you're seeing her as a cautionary tale of someone who built something from the ground up that's gonna fall like a house of cards if she didn't leave her child that power of attorney. Because everybody's stuck on feeling sorry for her. Oh, the aphasia. Oh, or the people who don't like her. And we got to address that too. Let's stop celebrating this woman's downfall, because whether you like her or not, you don't know what the future holds for you. And there's power in the tongue. So let's not celebrate this woman's downfall. I wasn't a fan of how she attacked people, but over the years, people went at her as well. So it's a two-way street. This isn't even a conversation about extending grace, but I can understand why some people might listen and think that's what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to use your common sense and see that this woman's own son has no access to her in the way that he should have access to his own mother. Why are we not having the conversation about the fact that once you start making a certain amount of money, your actions have to speak to that money that you are making? Because what's worrisome and troublesome to me is that aphasia, and she will go into the afterlife. There's no cure for this. Dementia type diseases like aphasia and Alzheimer's and Lewy bodies, it all gets worse. It does not get better. Not only is she going to forget the one beautiful child she gave birth to, he's probably not gonna get anything of substance. Because obviously that's her son, he may get something. Do me a favor, if you're one of my subs who either just got monetized or you're working to get monetized, keep your immediate family that you love the most in mind. I'm not going to scare you with tomorrow's not promised, because that's stating the obvious. But anything can happen to you once you level up, and you know how it is when that happens. I've seen this even in my own family on my father's side, which is why I choose not to deal with a lot of them, but I'm not going to air my dirty laundry and give you an example. If you reasonably know that you want this platform, YouTube, TikTok, whatever you're going to do, Instagram Live, Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, Snapchat, however you're going to do this, keep in mind that once you build a brand, building a brand has a whole different connotation that is going to require you to make certain moves. And the second thing that you need to, and the last point I'm going to make, it's funny how relatives that either you didn't know you were related to, or ones who didn't help you or disappeared for years, suddenly want to come out of the woodwork. Go look up the late singer Prince. He's been gone for almost 10 years now. Hard to believe. They're still fighting over that man's estate because he didn't handle it properly when he was alive. Relatives come out of the woodwork when money is involved. These people didn't care about you when you were alive. But even when you are still living and in your most vulnerable state, they'll take from the very people you planned to actually give that money to. Use Wendy Williams as a cautionary tale that when it comes to your branding, to move like a fox and move wisely.